Oh, tomorrow Libra will be 1 year and 6 months. Oh no.
Oh no, she will not.
No, I think maybe 7. Yeah, 7. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, she was born in October.
So this is the second meeting and about this theme of identity. So we watched the movie in French language. Fortunately, there is no French name here, so it's already in English. God is great and I am not. So it's also connected to this topic, and the story in this movie is about one Jewish man, which is not religious, of course, and how it usually works, not observant, and even he is afraid of his Jewish identity for some reason, and she is in a relationship with the girl that is not Jewish, but the girl is very interested in Judaism because it's the part of the person that she likes, and she started to learn, to prepare for giyur, learn Hebrew and all the musagim terms of Judaism, and she wants to move to this direction, and he kind of hesitates, not sure about it. So this is this conflict when a Jewish person does not want to be religious and doesn't feel that Judaism is part of his Jewish identity. So the question is, what is his identity if it's not religion? And but people from the outside, they could expect that, of course, every Jewish is observing the Torah because it's the part of the identity. So this is the conflict in this movie. This is why this is interesting, this movie.
I'm very free maybe this point because it's very good. This film is very good context for talks and maybe
For discussion.
For discussion, yes. A lot of points. It's very realistic movie and very French, like with a lot of pieces like this, but it's like a background, like a realistic couple live this life, and it really looks like a true story, like a movie not for a lot of people, you know, like more camera or something like this.
No.
It's my vision. Yeah.
And at the end of at some point she is very interested in giyur, but he is not. So in order that she could make giyur, her husband needs to be also observant. So that's why I understand like this. That's why he also goes to these lessons and they start learning. Yeah. But learning means that you need to start observing, right? But he didn't want. So this is the conflict, and it ends that their interest in Judaism is ended, and they are thinking if they need to continue this relation or not. So it's not just a clear end. So they split because
she does giyur or not?
At the end, not. That's the point.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, because their interest in Judaism was minor interest, not maybe.
Not only related to him.
Yes, because they was in this period of romantic relationships that she was maybe obsessed with him or something like this, and that's why she was very interested in all that connected to him, and that's why it started. But after it, she didn't see that he is also interested in this thing, and they not living like in old times. They was changing partners like secular people.
Yeah, it's
And
like
so they
like
interested
this.
in Judaism ended, and she didn't make giyur, and he didn't become servant, of course. And in the end, they are thinking, should they continue their relationship or should not? So this is kind of point that I can see a bit. So two things: there is religious and there is love. So we can see that people can treat both of them seriously and not seriously. So this is kind of topic of this movie, and it's just interesting for this discussion, because if really a religion is part of our identity, so why we are seeing so many Jewish that are not religious, and if the religion is not part of our identity, so what is our identity? So this is very big question that I'm thinking about it now. So this is kind of first introduction. You can say something else. Uh-huh.
I'm reading a book about I'm now thinking how did the French author
Oh,
and about identity as well, and he distinguishes between Judaism as a religion, so like Catholicism, Protestantism, and so on, and
Jewish nation.
Jewish nation, yes, that's it. And it's interesting because in France, Jewish people were called and called themselves Jews. And then there was a time when they called themselves Israelites.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then, after the foundation of the state of Israel, they again went back to calling themselves Jews. It has different connotations and meanings. If you say you are an Israelite or un juif en français.
So in German it's Jude and Israel. So this is also.
And in one case, it's just so for the emancipation and the assimilation in France. They try to conceive it as like a confession.
Yeah, like a belief. You believe
yeah.
in Judaism or you don't believe.
So they are not different from the other French people, which are Catholics mainly, and the word Jew was not so in high esteem, so it was kind of
people are not showing it. People are hiding.
Pejorative, so a bad word.
Yes.
They conceived it as a word, as a bad word. And yeah, it's very interesting, and it was only connected to the belief, and then before it was connected to being a nation.
Oh, nation.
And also being a nation in a nation.
In the other nation.
For example, in France.
In France or in Germany.
And then after the assimilation was no longer so some of them.
So the assimilation is the process when you lose your identity, right?
It can happen, yeah, but not everyone follow this path. But
yeah,
some
sure.
did, yeah.
France. So you know French language? You're reading in French. Josephine also knows French because she's from France. So this is the one topic, and I was linked to the other question. What is the Jewish identity? As you said, we can see two things, two parts of it, because if someone is born by Jewish parents, by Jewish mother, so he's considered Jewish, right? And the question is if his identity as a Jew depends on the religion or not. So this is the one part of identity is nation, but also there is very big culture of Judaism, of religion. So this is the second part of Jewish identity. So we can see two these parts, and the question how they connected together, or maybe they're not connected. I don't know. And so I found several books about it. Unfortunately, all of them in Russian. So this is by Professor Yehuda Levi. It's like academic Ashkafa, worldview. So what? Who are Jews and what are their mission? Questions like this, and the name is answering the challenge of time, something like this. Professor Yehuda Levi. So he is kind of famous in his circle. So this is one book, and the second is about giyur, and it's also in Russian, unfortunately. So this is very analytic with a lot of sources and a lot of questions, right? And small letters. So all of them are giyur, and why I'm interested in giyur because if the person converts, so the question is what he achieves by that, because we can ask, for example, how it's possible if that someone make giyur if we're talking about the nation, and if someone born Jewish, so he is Jewish, and if someone was not born Jewish, so he's not Jewish. So how someone can become Jewish, right, if he was not born by Jewish parents? So this is the simple question that we can ask, and in order to understand how giyur works at all. And you mentioned also about the second part of identity. We said the Jewish religion. So most likely we can assume that the giyur is joined to the Jewish religion, right? So it's like a belief. So you started to live by the rules of this religion, so you became in the part of the Jewish society that also shares this religion, even that you are not born like Jews, but but you join in this society. So you're the part of the society, right? So giyur is if you want to join the Jewish society, so there are some rules within this society, so you need to accept those rules, and then you become a part of the society, even that you are not born Jewish. So it's kind of gives you the identity, the Jewish identity, but not the whole identity, like part of it.
But it's,
right?
You can say also that Judaism is it's a legal system.
Yes.
So
the system of laws.
So every nation has its own legal system, and since you accept the legal system of Judaism, it's not only a religion, and the sense is also part of what a nation makes. So it's more than.
I'm using the term society usually because it's the society, so you can become the part of the society if you accept these rules. So it's like, for example, someone comes to Germany and he's not German, but if he accepts the rules of this country, so after it they give him some document that he is considered German. So it's similar to giyur, right?
You can compare it. You have to accept the legal system as well. So the legal system of Germany is from that moment on binding for him.
So you have to follow these rules. And that's what makes you German.
Yes, I think so.
In one way, I can agree to it, yes. But it's hard for me. Oh, я нашла очки. I was looking for my glasses. She found them. She likes glasses. Die Brille. So yes, and but in terms of the culture, in terms of the culture, it's hard to say that someone that came. There are a lot of people that are coming from the east now, right? So legally speaking, they receiving the documents and they learning language. So they called Germans officially, right? But in terms of like regular, simple point of view, it's hard for me to call them Germans in the full meaning of it. So this I'm comparing it to giyur also. So if someone becomes the part of the society, Jewish society, and that's interesting because we have. Спасибо. Dankeschön. Ой, какие грязные. So we have a special name for the person. It's called Ger Tzedek. Maybe. When we asking for there is a part. When we are asking for the shoftim, the judges. So I'm saying that in Judaism we have special word for someone that came from the outside, and it means that he is not in a full meaning a Jewish, right? And in Germany, do we also have special term like the outlander, something like this?
So as soon as a person is naturalized,
Absorbieren.
It has the German passport. From this moment on, he's considered German.
In all the questions.
Yeah, because the German society it's not the Germanim in a proper sense.
So a lot of immigrants. So it's like the America, it's the democracy.
And there are many influences and Turkish people that are living in Germany for generations, and Italians and Portuguese and so on. So it's I don't know what a German person is. I don't know. Because so Germany has been founded in 1871 only, so it's not a long time. And then it was many principalities that have been
in war with each other.
In one state, federation. So, what is German? I think the Jewish history in Germany and the land that we call Germany today is much older than the German identity of Germany.
What?
So Jews are living in the area of Germany since 321.
So since the Roman Empire.
And at that time there was no Germany. Germany was founded in 1871.
Which is also interesting. So you're all talking about the identity of the land, right?
Yeah.
So
and the people
and the land. This is also a question that I didn't start yet, but it's in this book about the identity of the land, because we have our land, the land of Israel, so we have some feelings about it, we have some laws about it, and the culture and the history. But for example, as a giyur works, so you don't have to live in Israel to make a giyur. You can live in whatever place you want and still became the part of Jewish society, because the Jewish congregations, they are in every place, not only in Israel. So that's interesting. But as you mentioned, the approach of Jews towards how to call themselves was changed when the state of Israel started. So I think this it's also actual question with our with the Jewish nation, because we so we're talking about religion. So at some point there was a new thing, the society without the religion, the atheist people, secular Jewish. So they have also questions about the identity. So as I see it, the state of Israel is at least in a half way a solution to this question, because even if person is not religious, but he identifies himself that he is connected to this land, maybe he have a passport or relatives there, so he considering himself as Israeli. So it's something a little bit different from the Jewish, because it's disconnected from the religion. And it's also interesting how the state of Israel was built, and it's not based on the Torah. Almost, mainly it's the regular law. I know, maybe a British law or Turkish law. We need to ask someone that understands in it. Roman law. So it has only two parts that it's connected to religion, and it's about Shabbat and Kashrut. So in the land of Israel, Shabbat is a day off when no one is working, and all the shops are closing, and the buses, the trains are not working. So this is Shabbat, like a sacred day. So it was very good move from the foundation. I think it was Ben Gurion, I guess, and he understood that if we want to have a Jewish land, we need to make it Jewish in a way, and not just call it Jewish land. So this is one thing, Shabbat, and the second thing is Kashrut, that every public place, like a restaurant or a cafe, it should be, and the store, the grocery store, it should be kosher. So this is the law of the land of Israel, and if you want to organize it in a non-kosher way, so it's difficult to do. You need some special license. So this is two things in order that the Jewish state would be Jewish and not only the state of Israel, but in most part it's secular, it's not religious about the law. So of course there are a lot of religious people in Israel, but officially it's not a religious country. It's like democracy. You can be whatever you want. You can be Jewish or Christian or Islam, or you can be secular also.
Isn't Israel a Jewish state?
This is the question. What makes it Jewish state? We Jews.
Jewish state.
Yes, it's called. But the question is, what makes it Jewish state? Only the Jews are living there. So this is what we are talking about. What makes the Jewish person a Jewish person? If he's disconnected from the religion, how, just like the Jewish state. So why he is Jewish? Is he Jewish?
Mm-hmm. Over 3,000 years.
Yeah, you're talking about the belonging, that it belongs to the Jewish nation.
So that's a
yes.
Jewish state. Here in Germany, we have the Christliches Abendland.
Ah.
You know, Christliches Abendland?
Abend, it's evening?
But for me, we had this discussion yesterday, and I think it's good. I think that Israel should be a Jewish state.
It's like status quo.
Like every other
will be a Jewish place absolutely just when Mashiach comes, and everyone will know that this place is absolutely Jewish place, and all people will know about it. The Jewish people have the Torah, have the truth, and it's correct. And then I think it's just them it can be, because now, yeah, not all the Israelis, yes, is religious, but a lot of religious, and I think this place religious in one in part it's because this land have religious people a lot, and it can be not Jewish because they really keep it's our religion. Don't come here with your something. It's one part. I think it's very important to.
But there are a lot of not religious people also in Israel, and they think that it's their land.
Yeah, it's just one faith.
But who are they?
But even
And it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's.
The secular people also they identify as Jews, even they are not observing.
So this is my question: what makes them Jews if they are not?
Today, my father said to me, "I wish I could give you my Jewish identity. I don't want it. Take it, please." But I think he just said it because he knows how much I desire.
Yeah, and it's like I think it's fire from God. That some souls feel something like this. That it's my way. It's yeah.
And it may sound like a theoretical question, but what we have now, a lot of topics considering anti-Semitism that everyone is talking about, it's very connected to it, because if we have this question, what makes us Jewish and what makes this land a Jewish land, so people that are hostile toward us, they can also feel or ask this question, and if we don't have the answers, so it makes us kind of vulnerable, right? So that's why this is important questions, I think, right?
As you said, it comes from the mother, right? The identity comes from the mother, and also from observing, because
so this is the important topic that I want to discuss, right? So if this what I said, if the identity comes from the mother, so why giyur is possible?
Because when there's a rabbinisches Judentum, how is it, rabbinistic?
Rabbinistic Judaism,
yes,
in Russian also.
Before Ruth also made giyur. I'm very sure she did not have to go the same path like I had to go, and to decorate her dishes and all this. I'm not sure if she had dishes or something. Maybe she had dishes, but how they look like, and she had different thrones and all this. Like
Different. Different. Giyur.
Yes. And now through the rabbinistic rules they invented, it's much more complex and difficult to become Jewish, right? As it was like in ancient times.
It's not completely correct to say invented. So we have these rules.
Yeah,
yes. This is our tradition that we have.
The tradition was developed, right? And
this is
a
very
very
big question.
On the light and
so
so on.
So what do you want to say with this example of fruit that the
no, because you said why it's possible to make you. It was always possible to make you, because also she's
yes,
the grandmother.
I agree that it's possible. I know that it's possible. I'm just asking why and trying to understand. I'm not arguing that it's not possible.
Because it's written in Torah also. Abraham also became a Jew.
Who? Abraham. Oh.
Yes. In the beginning he wasn't Jewish, right? So
So we're starting from Abraham. So we, the sons of Abraham, we are Jewish.
But if he was the first man who became Jewish, so it's logical that more people can become, isn't it?
But we, as his sons, we have to follow his paths because he is our father. So this is our path, and people that are not sons of Abraham, they are not. They don't have to follow this path, right? They have their own path, their own religion, their own culture, right? This is this distinction. There's us that we. This is our path, and other people which are not Jewish, it's not their path, right? They have their culture, their religion. So this is the distinction. Who is born Jewish, and who is not born Jewish, right? So.
And there were like more women, like also from Yaakov, a wife that he had slaves.
Abraham also have.
Yes, and they were not
Agar.
Jewish, right? Oh, it's not.
Yeah, because
they
the
were Jewish.
Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. So everyone after Yaakov is Jewish. That's why we call Bnei Israel.
Maya and Sarah.
Huh?
And what was this, Sarah?
Sarah is wife of Abraham, so she gave birth to Yitzchak. So after Yitzchak goes Yaakov, right?
But Sarah was Jewish.
It's about
Interesting question.
Abraham and Sarah. It's a good question about how we can call that nationality.
The God did a covenant, a brit with Abraham. So his wife is also part of this covenant, and his children.
If it's correct, from Yaakov, we can say.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because Abraham have Yitzchak and Ishmael, so we are coming from Yitzchak, and Ishmael is a different nation, and also Yitzchak have also two sons, Esav and Yaakov. So we coming from Yaakov, and Esav is different nation, but we are calling ourselves in the Torah Bnei Israel, the sons of Israel, which is Yaakov, right?
It's Sarah and Abraham. It's a question about nationality. Just from Yaakov, we absolutely calls Israel, Israeli people from this like father. Ты нужно посмотреть, покажи, как ты убираешь, малыш, чтобы он там looks how she do it. Wow.
You're professional.
Тетя тебе дала, да, ты убираешь, молодец. Вот там подмети, видишь, накрошили пирог. Уберет, молодец. Молодец. Yeah, and about what you said about the Greek, this is like
It's the starting point.
Yeah.
Starting point.
Yeah. But about nationality, it was like this fire when we maybe don't know this term, like a term, this term, nationality. Yes, at this moment. And then little bit, not little bit.
It was the family of Abraham, so.
Yeah, family. From this family, continue this family like Jewish this way.
So, like the birth of the nation was on one time, no?
Oh, this is also important
yeah,
topic.
it's a beautiful discussion now, just critical.
Why is it important? Because it was on one time.
Because
the laws were.
It's the start of the law.
Yeah.
Right? Before it was not the law that
and also we have conception that God is like Hakam and Jewish people is Kala, and just when we take this Torah in Sinai, we can be this like a wife. It's a legal relationship, and we can call like Jewish people from God, and
So from Yaakov, it's like the nation, and from the
Yeah.
man side, it's the religion. So this is two parts of identity.
yeah.
And once that Abnei Israel that comes from Yaakov, they have to observe this Torah from Sinai.
Yeah.
So this is the start
Yeah.
of
And
Am
that-
Israel.
I think these terms like nation is something to like we need to research the criteria of nations, you know. But it's close to this meaning. Yes.
So let's say
Yeah.
Am
Yeah,
Israel.
it's actually, I think it's very good.
Sometimes it's called Goy also.
Yeah.
Goy.
but Goy is a non-Jew.
Yeah.
In rabbinical literature, yes, but in Tanakh, Goy is the nation.
Yeah.
Mi kamcha Israel, Goy echad ba'aretz.
So why they took the word Goy and for Jew, non-Jew?
Good question.
Because it's all the other nations. That's the tradition.
Most likely.
But there were several women who made and not only yours, I think also
Oh, it's an actual moment because in our Parashat Shavua we have the incidents about Miriam and Aaron, and that Miriam said, "Wow,
Ой.
oh,
Тоже ничего страшного.
yeah, I'm very emotional. Yeah, I feel, what I want to say about, she wants to show, да, тут, сюда положить, а потом мыть, да, отсюда. Yeah, in our Parashat Shavua had this moments about the Miriam and our Miriam said like, wow, Moshe want to take women Tzipora who
You can move a little.
and burn there like Kushi.
Kushit. Kushit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kushi. She's saying Kushi. Yeah, from this.
Weihnachten, oder? Ja, genau. Jetzt ist sie weg. Ja.
Okay, yeah, and it's what you said. Yeah, and I just remember that it's very actual for us in our
Okay,
Also made giyur.
I am not arguing that it's possible. I just want to understand how it works. About the giyur.
I think in general, like you can take part in every, like as a stranger in every community, right? It's not only Judaism. You can also become a
This is a
Christian.
good
You
point.
can become a Muslim. But in Judaism, it's the most hardest to get in, I think.
Because both Christianity is built on Judaism and both Islam also. So Christianity, that was their idea, that they want the core of Judaism to spread it to all the nations. But initially Judaism was for a Jewish nation, right? So this is the dynamic of Christianity, that they baptized everyone that wants.
And also in Muslim, they are also missionaries.
Yeah, sure.
How do you say that?
Proselyte, yeah, in Russian also.
Yes. And I think this is why, also a reason why there are so few Jews, not so many Jews.
Because?
Because it's they are exclusive religion.
So it's harder to become Jewish than to become Christian, you say?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why Christianity spread so wide, because they demand not much.
In the beginning of Judaism and Christianity, it was a concurrence between them, because Judaism was attractive for many people, and also for Christians. And then the Christian authorities began to introduce laws to prevent Christians to become Jews. So it's in the very beginning.
Which laws?
300. So the so-called concise of the.
Interesting.
It started, I'm not sure, maybe 300 of our era. I'm not sure.
Yeah, when the Christianity started, it was very appealing to people, and people from Judaism was going towards it.
But no, also Christians were attracted by Judaism, and Christian authorities didn't want them to be Jewish, and therefore they, step by step, they introduced laws to hinder them.
I think the main reason why it should be possible to make giyur is like that everyone who is like truly interested in living the religion or in observing should get the chance to be a part of the Jewish nation.
This is also an important question because, for example, we have this term "eino metzuveh v'oseh." So if someone wants to perform a mitzvah, it's not forbidden. Everyone could perform this mitzvah or that mitzvah, and it might even be a good thing to make mitzvot, even if someone is not Jewish. But giyur is if someone wants to become the part of Jewish community, Jewish nation. It's not enough for him just to make mitzvot from time to time. It's not enough for the person that wants to make giyur. It means that he wants to become the part of this society, right?
Oh. זה כמו משפחה גדול.
משפחה?
להיות חלק.
חלק. כל ישראל יש חלק מהעם. So many questions today. You're not tired yet?
We are drinking black tea.
So also the important question here is why you talked about Sinai. So our predecessors was at Sinai, so they said to God, "Naaseh v'nishma," we will do it. So the also important question to understand is why to consider why we the sons of them, we Jewish, so why we have to follow their decision. This is also important question because they agreed and they have agreement with God, and even Abraham did, but I wasn't there, right? So this is also important thing to understand why I have to follow their path. It's also like the part of identity that I am connected to them with some strong connection that I should feel, and therefore I have to follow their path. They choose this covenant with the God, so I need to follow the covenant. So it's also not easy to understand today how it works exactly.
That we every year at Shavuot we are receiving. Oh. Yeah, we are being given the Torah, so it's
so we accept it.
Renewal. So every year we are being given the Torah, new kind of, in case we identify.
There are sayings that when
those who were there,
when there's a reading of Torah, so we feeling like at that moment when we was at Sinai, so we kind of repeating it. There are saying like this. It's interesting. Okay, so maybe we'll learn something. Small part. I don't know. So initially, I wanted to learn the Rambam. You familiar with Maimonides? Rambam? Heard about it? Yeah. So we also have the book in Russian. It's a compilation. It's not the original book. It's just quotes.
Guide of the Perfect.
It has. Moreh HaDorot, Rambam, Mishneh HaGaot, Yesod HaLacha. It's just a compilation of his ideas from different books and some essays by different authors about the worldview of Rambam. So it's translated from Hebrew. So there is a list of essays and quotes. And you mentioned Siddur. So I will talk a little about these 13 principles of faith. Maybe we will learn them fast today and next time.
I know them.
Oh,
You want me to tell?
Please.
Okay. Hashem created everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hashem is einzig.
Kadmon.
Echad. Hashem is nobody. Hashem was the first and he will be the last. He's
endless.
Hashem, we pray only to Hashem, not to everyone else. The words of the prophets are true. The prophecy of Moshe is true. Hashem gave Moshe the whole Torah. The Torah cannot change. Hashem knows our deeds and our thoughts. He understands our deeds and he knows our thoughts. He will reward our good deeds and punish our bad deeds. I believe that Mashiach will come, or we believe Mashiach will come, and there will be an afterlife, right? Like the souls, the dead will be will live again. It means afterlife, doesn't it?
Oh, it's a very big question.
This is like Kabbalah. It goes in the, because this is like what I not so good understand when I read the last. Yes.
The last thing is Tchiyat HaMetim, so we should learn it last.
But because all the others are very logic, right?
Yeah, from some point of view, yes, but we can argue, we can discuss everything.
And in the end, okay, Mashiach will come. This is something we are all convinced, right? From our belief.
Yes, sure.
But the last thing is really like, I believe this, and I don't question this, but what it really means.
Tchiyat HaMetim. Yeah. It means that someone that was dead, he will be alive again.
So this is like afterlife.
So this is a big question, if it's for the bodies or for the souls. So we need to learn it. It's a good question. As far as I remember, Rambam thinks that it's for bodies. So just a miracle that God will make at some point. It was the prophecy that it would happen, it will happen, and just to show the power of God to people. I don't know. We need to learn. It's
many people
interesting topic.
Experience this, right? That they.
I didn't.
Vielen anderen nochmal den Namen auch.
Like the person was.
That they saw themselves when they were like for example they had an accident and they were like in how do you say this klinischer Tod, clinic death, and they saw themselves lying there dead, and maybe they also their whole life they saw in front of their eyes.
There are stories of this, yes.
Backwards. Something experience like this, people talk about it. I don't know. My brother also told me he dreamed that he saw himself lying in the bed, like from up.
Okay.
Really scary, I think.
So I just wanted to tell some things about these principles and something about Rambam. So he was living in Spain for some time and also in Egypt. And in Egypt, he was a doctor of King
Vizier, I think.
Vizier. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. So, and he was struggling to find the time to write his books because he was very busy in working as a doctor in the king's palace, and after it also for simple people, and only at night he could have find the time to write his books. I wanted to mention about the language of his books. Do you know?
Aramaic.
Arabic language. So his main work is Mishneh Torah, is the book of law. So he wrote it in Hebrew. So basically all the rest he wrote in Arabic language. And it's interesting where we can find these 13 principles of faith. It's not like he made a small book with it. He was writing his commentary on the Mishnah. We don't have Mishnah here, we have a Talmud. So there's a lot of rabbis that was commenting the Mishnah, and the Rambam also. So he was making commentary on Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin is about the death penalties and things like this. And there is one Mishnah that says that every Jewish have his part in Olam Haba. Kol Yisrael yesh lehem chelek Olam Haba. So Rambam was explaining what is Olam Haba, and it's kind of not an easy topic. So he was talking in wide questions about the punishment and the rewards. What is the rewards of the Torah that the person gets if he observing the Torah, and what is the punishment? And he writes it in very specific Arabic style, I would say, when a person makes a lot of introductions and he categorizes everything 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again. So he found among all the Jewish rabbis and people from his time, people that think like this, and he writes everything. And then at the end, he writes these 13 principles of faith, and we will read this part about it's in the end about why it's important these 13 principles to us, and what it change if someone believes in them or not believes. Yes, what's the difference? So he wrote like this: "V'kasher yamin adam ela yisodot kulam," and when the person, yamin, it's also difficult word, beliefs, let's say beliefs in these principles, all of them, and he is sure about them, and he is sure about his belief in God. So then he enters Bichlal Israel. He is considering Jewish. Mitzvah le'ahavol le'rachem alav, and we have to give him love. There is mitzvah ve'ahav le'rach kamocha. So he is considered re'acha, your neighbor, u'le'rachem alav, and to show him mercy. ולנהוג כמו בכל מה שצווה השם איש לחברו מן אהבה ואהבה. So there are a lot of mitzvot that we need to do to other Jewish like tzedakah and to help each other, things like this. So if someone believes all these 13 principles, we must do all these mitzvot towards him. ואפילו עשה מה שיכול מן העבירות. So here is the question of identity that is connected to religion. Even if the person, a Jewish person, did all possible things that is forbidden, averot, mechmat tava, because he have his tava. He wanted to eat what you was asking or talking about this Schweinefleisch. How do you say bacon in German? There is a special word.
Schinken.
Schinken, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was very, he wanted to eat it very much, and he very passionate about it, and he couldn't resist, right? So even if he did it, so his nature, he has not good nature within himself. So the person receives the punishment, but he have his part in the world to come. So he is considered Jewish still. He remains Jewish, but he is considered a wicked person, not righteous, but wicked. So this is why this topic is interesting for me when we're talking about the Jewish identity. So this is how the Rambam sees the Jewish identity, and it's very interesting that it's not based on the actions, how we could thought, but it's based on the understanding, the worldview. And we also will learn it later, maybe, how all the 13 principles connected to God and understand the God in specific way, because in Rambam and his worldview, we see that he makes an accent, and it's really important to him to understand who or what is God exactly and what he is not. And Rambam also part of his work was to explain all the mitzvot, all the commandments that we have in Torah, because sometimes when we learn Torah, we don't understand this or that mitzvah. So there was some rabbis that was working in this direction to explain every mitzvah. So the approach of Rambam, that it might sound weird way, that every mitzvah, it helps us to understand God in the right way or to move in this direction. So his concept is if person have bad habits or bad traits in his soul, so it makes him harder to understand God in the right way, or to learn Torah, or to get closer to God. So that's why the person should work on his traits, on his soul, to improve himself, right? So Rambam was looking at the Torah as a way to improve the person's soul, to make himself clean, maybe we could say something like this. So all the mitzvot, he was explaining that they are helping us to get closer to God. And what is the way to get closer to God? In the Rambam teaching, it's the intellectual way. It's the opposite of mysticism. It's very logical and understandable things. It's not connected to Kabbalah at all. And Rambam was not familiar, I guess, with the Kabbalah teachings, because it's he is from the philosophy. So there is a philosophy and mysticism. So it's like two schools. And in our great rabbis, we have rabbis that are from the school of philosophy. So they have their approach to the Torah and their explanation, their view. And we have different rabbis that are from mysticism and Kabbalah. So they have different approach, let's say less logical, more emotional maybe. So Rambam was the more philosopher. And nowadays, today we have, we'll make a conclusion, and then we have the problem of postmodernity, that humankind is disappointed in every kind of philosophy that we have. So that's why the Rambam is considered classic, but he's not popular today, let's say it like this, because he is based on philosophy and on rational, logical thinking. And a lot of people today, then they more tends toward mysticism and something that it's hard to understand, but Maybe we could feel it or not. I don't know. So today is more Kabbalah is more popular than philosophy, also because of Hasidic movement, and Hasidic movement is introduced Kabbalah to the wider audience than it was before. Initially, Kabbalah was very closed circle in Tzfat, for example, in 18th century. So it was very closed group when we're talking about Arizal and his students, Chaim Vital. So it was very closed circle, and it was not that everyone could learn these books. And now it all spread, and especially because of Chabad movement, which is the part of Hasidic movement. This is all big topics. So it was like the introduction today for the 13 principles of faith. So it's how Rambam sees the Jewish identity. So we can learn it more precise. We can read it slowly and discuss. So this is official part for today. You can ask something, propose. I don't know. This is it. We have also interesting book, which I didn't read yet, of course, because I don't have time. Unfortunately, it's called This Judaism Monogaliki. It's like this diverse Judaism. It's a translation from German. So it's Gilbert S. Rosenthal, Walter Homolka. I don't know them. And maybe it have the German.
This diverse
Judaism.
Judaism.
I translate it like this. It's not diverse. It's a different word. When